So this is one of the rooms where families are living. And you can see it's kind of makeshift. They set up little pallets and put kind of pads and mattress pads. There's seniors, there's women and children, there's infants. But you can see, this is what people are facing right now.
And you're feeding them all?
We're feeding them all. We have to.
That's NBC News' Jacob Soboroff. Earlier at a shelter in Lviv, there are more than 1.8 million Ukrainians who have been internally displaced within Ukraine since the war started. The UN is warning of the potential for, quote, emergency levels of hunger and malnutrition. Let's bring in Jacob Soboroff for all of this great reporting that you've done. I saw your reports from this morning. I saw some of the only happy people who had just been fed, who felt like the shelters were providing something more than the food in their stomach, but a sense of security, which it's clear is growing increasingly scarce there.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything more essential than having something to eat, especially when you're one of the millions, as you said, Nicole, internally displaced people inside this country. And the UN was warning of a severe food crisis even before the events of today. I was in this World Central Kitchen food storage facility, and I was saying in that report you're referring to, I can't tell you, our audience, where I am because the people here are worried it will be targeted by the Russians here in Lviv. Well, it turns out our colleague Richard Engel reported that the Russians today bombed 2 separate food storage facilities on the outskirts of Kyiv. That is happening right now. And it is a disruption, perhaps the most critical disruption to human life that you could see here. But there are counter forces, you could say, in the battle to keep Ukrainians fed. And probably at the forefront of it are both the World Food Program and the World Central Kitchen. Chef Jose Andres, his organization, his NGO he founded. So I want to show you a little bit of tape, Nicole.
Please.
I went inside that effort. With both Nate Mook, the executive director, but also his Ukrainian partner here on the ground. And that's what's so essential here. Watch this. Have you guys ever operated in a war zone before?
We haven't. We've operated in challenging places like Haiti and Venezuela, but of course this is a totally different environment. There's also the human factor of this tragedy that is very difficult, both for our teams, for our partners. They are living through this, right? They are actively suffering right now.
What has it been? I mean, like I said, your attitude is so positive, but what has it been like for you to see your country go through this?
It's difficult. It's still difficult question. But I really know the Ukrainian has a special power.
You have such a big smile on your face in the middle of a war. What is it that's...
No, it's my power.
Your smile is your power.
Yeah. Anyway, war is one side has, and if you will be all crying, you can't do anything. When our enemy will see our smile, I think it's also could be in our power too.
Wow.
So, Nicole, that's Yulia. She's one of the Ukrainian partners of World Central Kitchen. She also told me that a fork and a knife are her weapon to fight back against the Russians. We've been having these air raid sirens here on a daily basis. The last one was at around 4:20 in the morning this morning. And one of the things that I woke up thinking about today is, will those facilities be targeted, whether it's here or in other cities throughout this country? And Richard's reporting, just proves that very fact, that they're already being hit here in Ukraine.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just thinking that this is not part of the humanitarian crisis of the war in Ukraine story. This is part of Putin's battle plan to destroy the country, to literally starve them. And I wonder how that changes, if that sunk in to the folks that you met.
Oh, 100%. And, when our president, President Biden, says that Vladimir Putin is committing war crimes, I heard our Secretary of State Blinken, say the same thing, on the tape that you played on your program earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, this is part of what they're referring to, starving out a population. There is no greater cruelty than taking the one thing away that could keep civilians alive as there are battles raging in the streets in this country. It's what I think some of the many internally displaced people that I've met here have at the forefront of their minds. You know, they're sleeping in tents at the train station. They're having to find shelter. Earlier this evening, I was at an apartment building where 7 friends from Kyiv are living together, young professionals. And those are the questions that they're thinking about every day. Number one, am I going to survive? But number two, if I survive, am I going to have something to eat on a daily basis? Those are the things people here are thinking about.